Hi, and welcome to video number 5, where you get to learn how to create your outline and create your services. Now, we're also going to be talking about, how to figure out what kind of services to provide to your clients and your customers. Now, before we talk about the outline and figuring out what your services are going to be, let's talk about the client. The first thing you need to understand is your client, because guess what? That is who is going to buy your product, your services, or your consulting. Now, what I've done here is I've laid it out into a step-by-step process. So you can see that you create a project outline for your clients first, because not all of your clients are going to get all of your services. Some will have some of your services, some will have some of your other services. So there's no one size fits all outline or service outline. So you're going to give your clients a specific customized project outline. You're going to figure out what their goal is. What is their goal? Most likely it's just to market the products and get more money, things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory. But what are their specific goals, or what are the goals? What are the specific goals? And then you need to figure out, okay, how can I get that client to that goal by using specific strategies? And then how realistic are these strategies? How long is it going to take? And of course, what do you need to do to get this client to their goal? Now, keep in mind that not all clients are created equal, and not all of their businesses are going to be the same. So really, there's no one size fits all. So that's pretty much a general view of understanding your clients. And like I said, there's no one size fits all plan. However, if you understand, you have your outline created, you have your services created, and you try to figure out all the services that you can provide, then you can customize it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to meet with your customer. That's pretty much the primary thing. So you need to meet with your customer first. You need to ask them lots of questions. See, the more questions you ask the customer, and you can even give them free advice, that's fine. You don't want to give too much advice, but you want to give enough advice to let them know that you actually care about them, and you're sort of building that relationship with them as you meet with them, because you've taken time, you're giving them some advice up front, what possibly they might need to do, and you might have a free consultation first, and then you can get a good view of what they need. What do they do? Are they potential prospects? For example, in the consulting world, generally you want to reach the type of customer like lawyers, accountants, people who have clients that pay them a lot of money. So if the clients are paying them $100, $200, $300 an hour, you can expect that these types of clients will most likely take you pretty seriously. So these types of clients generally would rather you do it all. So if you think about it, a very small mom and pop store, running a restaurant, most of these companies, most of these small businesses do not have time to do everything. However, there are some people that have time to do that. So you got to think, do they need consulting or do they need done-for-you services? Now, generally what I found is if you find a customer that has a mix, they want you to do services plus they want some consulting, then this is a good customer. So the question is, can they afford to pay you now, and can they afford to pay you in the long run? Now, if they can afford to pay you now, that's great. But if they're not getting consistent income themselves, then they may not be the best customer. So if they pay you, let's say $5,000, $10,000 up front to do a done-for-you service, that's fine. But if they want ongoing services from you, that's the ideal client. And you've got to think to yourself, which clients can you take and which clients must you walk away from? Because you can't take every single client, otherwise you might miss out on clients who are willing to pay you a lot more money. But at the same time, you want to deal with customers who want to deal with you as well. Because some customers will not take you very seriously, therefore are not willing to pay you much. Or they're willing to pay you a lot of money, but they expect a ton of stuff. So you want to get somebody who you can help, but has a realistic feeling of what they want, or they know what they want, and they know it is realistic. Ask them questions about their business. Get to know their business. If it's a plumbing business, get to know what is their business all about. How do their customers come and find them and pay them and things like that. And what are they doing now? For example, right now I'm consulting a realtor, and I've asked her, I said, what are you doing now to get people to your website and to get referrals? Well, a lot of what she's doing right now is primarily offline marketing, flyers, business cards, things like that. But in this case in point, she's not doing a whole lot of online marketing, and that's the key. What are they missing? Well, in this case, the realtor is missing a lot of online marketing. She's not doing video marketing, which can really help offline businesses. And I can see so many potentials and so many things that I can offer her if I know what is missing. So what are they doing now, but what are they missing? Because this is a great opportunity for you to write pretty much everything that they are missing. Now, you got to realize that you only want to give your client what they need. Do not sell them something that they do not need or they feel like they do not need, because most clients don't like to be sold to. If they feel like you are selling to them, then they are going to walk away and you are going to say bye. So you are in this business because you want to consult and you want to help your customers. So only offer them what they're missing, but what they need. And can the missing items be fulfilled by your services and consulting, which is pretty much what I talked about earlier. Now let's move on to the outline for your services and writing up your proposal. Now this is basically a template. You can follow these templates for your own creation of your services and your outlines and things like that. So I'm going to give you some ideas so that you can understand this in a better light. So the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out what your goal is. What are you aiming to achieve? Like, what kind of service are you going to create? Then you need a specific strategy. How are you going to get to that goal in general? It doesn't need to be super specific, or it can be in the middle of general and specific, but you need a strategy. You need to know how to get to that goal. How realistic is that goal? You got to ask yourself, how realistic are these goals and are these strategies? Are you shooting for the moon, or are you shooting for something that's closer, that is more achievable? Because if you shoot for the moon, then guess what? When you promise too much, I've learned this in the past, but if you promise too much and you charge, let's say, $5,000 for something that you're shooting to the moon for, then your customer is going to expect a lot more. When you don't fulfill it, guess what? They could just either get their money back or harm your credibility and your reputation because you did not fulfill your promises, or they could sue you. So you definitely want to keep in mind, you got to do your research beforehand, and you got to do brainstorming beforehand before you go all out. Then you need to figure out, what are you going to do? What are the exact steps that are needed to take to fulfill this goal? What do you need to do? And it all makes sense when I give you an example. Then you also need to figure out the turnaround time. How long can this take? And be sure to give yourself at least 1.5 or 2 times more worth of wiggle room. So, for example, if you feel like you're doing video consulting or Facebook marketing, and you feel like an ad takes about an hour to set up, I would give yourself 1.5 hours or 2 hours to set up the ad campaign. Because remember, a lot of times when we estimate services that we do, at least I do, you got to know yourself, of course, as well. I know that I tend to estimate a lot smaller. So if I tell somebody, hey, I'll have it done in about 2 days, that's usually a whole week for me in reality. So I found that I know myself and my estimation is a little off. So you've got to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. So let me give you an outline example. Let's talk about a goal. Let's say that our goal is we're going to set up an online video marketing consulting firm or service. Now, you could go all out if you wanted to and just offer tons of marketing services if you want to, but I will say that I recommend that you pick one service, whether you're setting up a list, autoresponder, anything like that. You want to brand yourself as the specific marketing consultant, because if you're dealing with offline businesses, everybody out there, I found there's so many people out there that are offering marketing consulting services. So you got to figure out, how can I stand out among all of the other people who are selling marketing consultations? Well, if you go towards a niche and you're very, very specific, then, for example, online video marketing consultant, you can help people market their videos, their content, but at the same time, when you meet with them, you say, hey, not only do I do online video marketing, hey, I could set up a Facebook ad campaign, I could do a Google pay-per-click ad campaign, and all these other things. But you can sell yourself, your services, when you actually meet with a person. So in this case, I'm doing online video marketing consulting. I'm helping businesses market their products and services through online video. Now, what to do? What are the exact steps you need to take to fulfill this goal? So let's say, for example, someone approaches you. They say, hey, I need online video help. I got this cool content. I provide this product and services. I want to get it out there. I don't know how to get it out there. Well, as you know, with online video marketing, all that consists of is, first, you need to do keyword and market research. So you need to market research, you need to do keyword research, and I like to use Market Samurai because I can do proper keyword research and market research about the person's business, about their competition, and things like that, because you want to know what kind of competition is already doing online video so that you can take a different approach and have a unique selling proposition. So you want to make it so your client stands out versus the other competitor. So you got keyword and market research, then you have video creation. You've got to create the video after you do the market research and the keyword research. So what does video creation entail? That could entail, there's different types of videos. Like right now I'm doing PowerPoint video. You got screen capture video with Camtasia. You have live video and other types of video. So you got to think, okay, what kind of video can best express the products and services of my client? And what am I going to have to do? Do I have to rent a camera? Do I have to buy Camtasia? Do I have to, what do you have to do? So like I said, it's not one size fits all. You got to figure out your client. You got to understand them and what they need. Once you create the videos, then you got to do proper video SEO. For example, when you upload it to YouTube, they ask for a title, a description, tags, keywords, and so forth. So you need to make sure that that video will be able to rank in Google and be search engine friendly. And of course, once you've done the video SEO, you've got to upload the videos to video sites. You could use Traffic Geyser, you could use PixelPipe, you could use other types of services. And of course, you're going to have to track. Now, most of these sites provide tracking. TubeMogul provides tracking, things like that. So you also want to think, okay, how can I do what my client wants me to do without having to spend too much of my money and too much of my time. And of course, what can be outsourced if anything can be outsourced? So you want to think, okay, how can you save time and what can be outsourced? Then you want to think about turnaround time. How long can this take? Keyword market research can take a couple hours. Generally, I'd say about half a day to a day for proper keyword research, just because for each client, I do a lot of research just to make sure I understand the competition, everything like that. So a day's worth, you got to think, okay, would this be consulting or the service? If I'm doing the work, then that, of course, that's going to be a service. But if I'm just consulting them and I'm telling them, hey, you need to do this, this, you need to do keyword market research, video creation, video SEO, blah, 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 then that's consulting. However, I will tell you, most of your clients, they don't really want to learn about video marketing. They would rather pay you money to do video marketing. So for most cases, I found it tends to be done for you services. On rare cases, if somebody wants consultations, I'll give them a video that maybe I created, or you can go online and find video marketing videos and training and just hook them up with that. But at the same time, generally, I would recommend that you do the done for you services, because if you do consulting and you just send them to a video marketing page or somebody else's site, you're pretty much sending those people and those clients to the other site. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep track and you want to keep that customer so that you can help them one-on-one. And of course, research your competition. I showed you how to research competition briefly in the previous videos, but I cannot emphasize this more than enough. You've got to research your competition so that you understand what they're doing and what kind of prices they are charging. If you understand your competition, then you can understand what you can provide and what you can provide more. Now let's talk about your prices. I'm going to give you an overview of your prices, and then I'm going to give you an example by using the video marketing consultation prices. So when you're figuring out your prices, you've got to ask yourself, what are considered services and what are considered consultations? Now, preferably, I prefer to charge service-based per project. So you've got to know yourself if you're going to charge any price. For example, if you're going to set up an autoresponder and you tell the client, I'll set up the autoresponder, I'll set up your list for $2,000. Or what if you said $500? We'll just use an example. Let's say you say, I will set up your autoresponder and all these other things for $500. You don't want to overestimate, but you don't want to underestimate as well. So some people think, okay, well, I'm going to just charge per hour. That way, if I work 2 days worth, let's say 8 hours per day, 16 hours, then I can make money from that. And I charge $50 for an hour. While, yes, the thought and the concept, and you might be thinking, if I charge $50 and I work the whole week, I'll make a lot of money. While that is true, you're missing out on clients that you could possibly have. At the same time, if you're only charging $50 and you do it all in 2 hours, you walk away with $100. So that's why when you charge per project, that is generally best, just because then you don't underestimate and then often you don't overestimate. And you don't want to discount or give people discounts or give people freebies or bonuses. Otherwise, that takes away from your value. So if you feel like, okay, you can do it under $1,000 and it takes you less time to do that, you could over deliver and give them more. Consulting generally is paid by hour. You can offer $100 or $200 or whatever prices, depending on your track record. And I found consulting, if it's consulting, I have to do less work because I just consult them and tell them, what to do. and I found services tend to be better. But if you have a services and consulting, it's a lot more fun because you have a variety of things to do. Then you got to think what can be outsourced in terms of the service-based stuff. Now, consulting, of course, that's just face-to-face, so that can't really be outsourced unless you have somebody working with you. But consider with services, you can outsource services, and that's not hard to do. And in fact, if you want to set up an autoresponder, you could have your virtual assistant do that, and you can take on more projects that way. Now, let me give you an example of prices. You want to ask yourself, do they want consulting or do they want a done-for-you service? Now, like I said earlier, most businesses will want you to do it for them. They don't have time to do the marketing because they are too busy working on their restaurant, their business, their clients, and so forth. So let me give you an example of video consulting. So what you need to do is you need to break it up. You need to break up. So keyword and market research would be one thing, video creation another. So video market research, like I said earlier, usually I give it about a day. So if you were to spend, let's say, 8 hours a day and charging $250 an hour, 8 times $250 an hour, or even $200 an hour, that's $1,600 or more. So that's a day's worth. So you can say, okay, if I charge $50 an hour, get this. But if you're doing services, that's why I say charge per project. Keyword market research, video creation, video SEO, uploading videos to video sites with Traffic Geyser, and tracking. And of course, there's a lot more that entails with video consulting, but these are pretty much the primary ones. So you want to figure out, okay, what are the specific goals and what does it take to complete the video consulting and done-for-you service. Which one takes the most time? Well, keyword market research probably only takes about a day. Video SEO, once you've done your keyword market research, that should be easy, just a couple hours. I would say, if I said an hour, I'd give it 2 hours. If I say 2 hours, I give it 4 hours, just because I don't want to underestimate. But of course, if I overestimate, I'll tell the client and I'll usually give them some money back or discount it. Video creation takes the most time besides keyword market research. Video creation tends to take a lot more time because depending on what type of videos, you gotta think of, okay, what kind of video am I going to do? You gotta prepare the content, you've got to edit the videos, you've got to render the videos, and then you've got to upload them. You have to have a place, to host them. But of course, we're using YouTube, so that would not be an issue. You've got to upload to video sites. Traffic Geyser takes time to set up, but once you set it up, then you're pretty much set. But you need to be able to outsource this type of stuff. Tracking, YouTube, all these other sites provide tracking. TubeMogul provides tracking, so that's good. You want to think, okay, which site provides tracking the easiest so that I can just grab a report, create a report, and that's it. Because you also want to think, how can I make it easy for myself, but how can I make it easy for my client? Because the easier it is for the client, the happier they will be, and especially you provide the results as well.